The Army plans to showcase its most powerful military vehicles on Saturday. WUSA 9 got an exclusive look at what those tanks and Bradleys can do on the battlefield when we traveled to Fort Cavazos, Texas, where the majority of military vehicles here in D.C. for the parade are stationed. Our chief investigative reporter, Eric Flack, rode along with the Army as they demonstrated the vehicle's massive firepower. And Flack, one of the things you talk about is just the sheer size of these things.
You know, that's right, Simone. As I found out when I traveled to Fort Cavazos, Texas, these are the same tanks and Bradleys the Army would deploy on the front lines of the battlefield. And the Army showed us up close just what they can do. Deep in Fort Cavazos, Texas, you can hear and feel the power before you see it. The thunder of diesel jet engines under the hood and the rumble of steel tracks echo through this 3 Armored Corps training field as WUSA 9 got an exclusive demonstration of America's premier battle tank.
That is one of the most important but also lethal weapon systems on the battlefield.
At around 70 tons, the Abrams tank is deadly accurate, able to hit targets at speeds up to 40 miles an hour. With its smoothbore cannon, the Abrams can seek and destroy the enemy from over a half-mile away.
It can be going 30, 40 miles per hour, and when this tank is going up and down little hills, the cannon will stay
Completely
level as the tank is moving a little bit, and it can engage on the move.
But the Abrams is not traveling to D.C. alone. The Bradley fighting vehicle is lighter at 40 tons, but also deadly with its Bushmaster cannon and anti-tank missile system and machine gun.
This is designed to kind of get infantry really close to the front lines.
But despite the combination of power and agility, Colonel Camille Stahlkoper says the real strength of these vehicles isn't the steel on the outside, it's what's on the inside.
What makes these vehicles so lethal are the soldiers. Yep, absolutely. And without the soldiers, without the training, it's a nice piece of metal.
The soldiers make them special. Those Abrams tanks are roughly $5 million a piece. The Bradleys, $4.5 million, meaning between just those two, Simone, there will be $250 million in Army vehicles rolling down Constitution Avenue on Saturday.
Around. But Flack, as you know, there is continued concern about the impact that these massive Army vehicles are just going to have on the roads in terms of damage. What's the latest with that?
Yeah, I did talk to Colonel Stahlkoper there, who you saw in that story. He said he didn't see any problems when they rolled them off the trucks here in Jessup, Maryland. The parade route is about 8 miles long, and that's 8 blocks of Constitution, 1 mile long, 8 blocks of Constitution Avenue. As we've been reporting, the Army has installed brand new rubber track pads on every vehicle. They say those will protect D.C. streets, and the tanks and Bradleys will also be traveling about 3 miles an hour to minimize the damage. That's far slower, Simone, than we saw them running in that piece when we were out there in Texas during those training exercises.
You know, the rubber on the tanks, as you pointed out, and then the metal on the roadways is hoping to mitigate some of the long-term damage that could very well come from this. Eric Flack for us tonight. Thank you.
All right.